Swish and Tell. This is the show where we recap some of the best stories that you might have missed over the last week on thepeachbasket.net. All right, so let's dive into a historic night for the Celtics. Honestly, it's not every day you see two players from the same team each post 40-plus points in a game. Derrick White lit up with 41, while Payton Pritchard put up a jaw-dropping 43. And this was all without Tatum, Holiday, or Porzingis on the court. That's huge.
Man, that's like stepping into, I don't know, some kind of alternate Celtics universe. White and Pritchard, who saw that coming? Those dudes absolutely cooked.
Exactly, and it wasn't just blind luck either. White's shooting was precise, 9 for 17 from three-point range. But you could tell Portland's defensive coverage, or lack thereof, really played into it. They kept leaving him open, even when he was clearly feeling
That's
it.
what I don't get. Like, if a guy's out there raining fire on your defense, you gotta adjust. But nah, they let him eat, man.
And on top of that, his all-around contribution was textbook Celtics basketball. 3 steals, a block. He wasn't just scoring. He was making things happen on both ends of the court. Then there's Pritchard. 14 for 20 shooting, 10 for 16 from deep, and pulling down 10 boards as a guard? Those are all-star numbers.
Okay, but truthfully, it wasn't just their night. It was a masterclass in coaching. The Celtics staff adjusted the offense without their stars. The angle pick and roll, high ball screens. It was like they were picking apart Portland piece by piece. Brilliant.
Absolutely. And remember, those systems didn't just magically appear. The plays were designed to exploit defensive weaknesses, drawing Portland's big man Donovan Clingan out of position. That created space for guys like White and Pritchard to hammer them with threes.
That blind pig play, though, oh my God, at 200. I've got to give them props for that one. Misdirection, quick execution, and bam, open looks all night long.
It illustrates perfectly why depth matters. You lose your big three, but the system allows role players to shine. You know, Marcus, it reminds me of all those stories of unexpected standouts grabbing their moment to flip the team's dynamic on its head.
Yeah, like back in the day when Danny Green had that monster finals series for the Spurs. It's like Pritchard said, this is my shot to show the league what I'm about. And boy, did he deliver.
It's safe to say both he and White changed the narrative around the Celtics' depth last night. Performances like these show what's possible when preparation meets opportunity. But still...
Don't jinx it, Jose.
All right, I'll leave it there. But let's just say the road ahead for the Celtics looks a lot more interesting now. Depth and tactics, the keys to long-term success.
Speaking of depth, have you seen what's happening with the Lakers? Their role players are balling out. Honestly, it's wild. I don't think anyone predicted this level of impact from them a couple months back.
Exactly. What's interesting is how they've completely reshaped their approach mid-season. You've got these guys, no superstars outside of LeBron and now Luka, finding ways to contribute meaningfully. And in contrast, you look at the Trailblazers with young talents like Anfernee Simons and Scoot Henderson. They're still raw, but the potential is there. Simons especially has shown flashes of becoming a go-to scorer.
Not to mention Scoot's fearless style. This dude attacks the basket like he's trying to make every highlight reel. He reminds me of a young Westbrook. He's got to refine some things, of course, but man, he's exciting to watch.
True. And that brings me to Jalen Brunson. He's been nothing short of phenomenal offensively for the Knicks. It's rare to see a player his size dominate the way he does. He's like Nate Archibald in the 70s. You know, leading a team as an undersized guard, scoring at will while controlling the pace of the game.
Yo, Tiny Nate Archibald, that's a name, Jose. And you're not wrong, Brunson's got that same fearlessness. The man gets buckets in crunch time like it's nothing, and he's constantly putting pressure on defenses. It's like he's carrying that chip on my shoulder energy every night.
But unlike a lot of players with something to prove, Brunson backs it up with consistency. That mid-range game, the footwork, the decision-making, he's mastered the little things that make a big difference. It's a throwback style that fits so well in today's game because it catches defenders off guard.
Right, and speaking of off guard, how about Kyrie Irving in Dallas? Man, he's turned his story around. Like his leadership actually getting praised now. Who would have thought, huh?
It's been a fascinating turnaround before his injury. When you look at the criticism he's taken over the years, both deserved and exaggerated, his move to Dallas seems like it's given him a fresh start. He's not just showing up on the court, he's winning over teammates and management. That level of buy-in isn't easy to achieve, especially for someone with the baggage Kyrie carries.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's still Kyrie. You know he's got to get those ankle-breaking crossovers in. But he's also setting up plays, making his teammates shine. Dallas might have rolled the dice, but right now, it's paying off big time.
And you can see how his presence elevates his teammates' game, too. It's this dynamic push and pull where both players complement each other without one overshadowing the other. If Kyrie keeps this up, he could be what takes Dallas from playoff hopefuls to real contenders.
Speaking of players stepping up, can we talk about Kawhi Leonard? That buzzer beater in overtime, left-handed, with 3 guys on him. Like, are you kidding me? That's the stuff fans dream of, man.
Absolutely. You know, Marcus, the thing about Kawhi is his calmness under pressure. It's almost surreal. That final play wasn't just clutch, it was textbook execution. He ran the clock down, made his move, and delivered with precision. It's moments like these that remind the league why he's been a Finals MVP. Twice.
Exactly. And it wasn't even a perfect game from him, right? But when it mattered most, boom, ice in his veins.
And then there's James Harden. This guy, he's been the heartbeat of this team all season. He puts up 29 points, almost a triple-double with 11 assists and 9 boards, while keeping the tempo in check the entire night. What stood out to me was how smoothly he worked with Brian Shaw, who stepped in as interim coach for Ty Lue. That's not easy.
Right? Shaw wasn't reinventing the wheel or anything, but you could tell he trusted Harden to lead out there. And Harden, man, he was dialed in. Those late game plays, getting Zubac that dunk and Kawhi in position, that's leadership.
Definitely. It also showed how much flexibility the Clippers have. They didn't panic without Ty Lue. Shaw kept the game plan tight, focusing on spacing and decisive plays. That 7-0 run to force overtime? Just smart basketball.
And here's the thing. When you've got 2 stars who can create in any situation, it's hard to mess that up. But props to Shaw for not overcomplicating it. Let's be honest. It wasn't about flashy coaching decisions. It was about letting Kawhi and Harden do their thing.
True. And you could see Kawhi and Harden understanding each other's rhythm. It's that synergy. The flashy and composed combo. Like Harden's setup for Kawhi in those decisive moments. Or even how Zubac quietly dominated with his 8th double-double. Everyone stepped up.
Right, and speaking of stepping up, how about Harden's durability compared to Kawhi's load management? Harden's played 61 games this season, man. That's like a rock out there. And yeah, Kawhi's at, 22? But when he's healthy, he's an absolute game changer. It's wild how they balance each other.
That's a great point. Harden brings consistency, while Kawhi delivers in critical moments. It's a duo that works well because they fill in the gaps for each other. And it's easy to overlook. But the Clippers' depth proved valuable too. Guys like Zubac kept Sacramento from dominating inside.
Look, you can't script a better moment than Kawhi hitting that buzzer beater. It's why we love basketball, the drama, the excitement. The Clippers, they're giving fans a reason to believe right now.
And ultimately, that's what it's about. Even with Ty Lue out, this team stayed resilient. They trusted each other, leaned on their stars, and delivered when it counted. Now, whether they can sustain that momentum remains to be seen. But for one night, Marcus...
They owned it, Jose. Straight up.
And that's all we have for today, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us to talk hoops. Until next time on Swish and Tell, keep loving the game.
The voice of the fan, the voice of the fan.